aliens. California, y'all should be ashamed of yourself if you vote for Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom asked the federal government for billions of dollars to help Los Angeles fire victims.
In a letter to the White House, the governor asking for $39.6 billion in disaster aid.
What? Riverfront property may be hard to come by in Los Angeles, but for some people living on the margins, this is where they call home.
That many similar efforts from the original Trump term would be replicated in his second term. And the whole point of putting $25 million up to the Department of Justice, our State Department of Justice, was to prepare for that.
Mr. President, after I destroy Washington, D.C., I would destroy another major city every hour on the hour. That is, unless, of course, you pay me $100 billion.
This video is brought to you by Allegiance Gold, brought to you by Allegiance Gold. How much control do you actually have on your money? Think about it. Your bank can freeze your account. The government can track every transaction, and some politicians want to eliminate paper currency altogether. Your life savings are tied to a system you have no say in. Or you can keep your wealth in your hands, no middleman, and no tracking. That's what gold offers. Gold is freedom. Gold is control. Unlike paper money or stocks, gold is something you physically own. And my friends at Allegiance Gold makes it simple for you to take back control. I partner with Allegiance Gold, a company I trust, so they can show you how to diversify your savings with gold and silver and protect what's yours your way. Go to protectwithtatum.com and they'll give you up to $5,000 in free physical gold or silver to get started. Plus, no setup fees if you choose a gold-backed IRA. Listen, y'all, the time is now. Take control of your financial future. Go to protectwithtatum.com right now. That's protectwithtatum.com. Governor Gavin Newsom, $40 billion for LA wildfire recovery. The state of California is now paying $9.5 billion a year just for health care of illegal aliens. And just so you know, Karen Bass fired that woman who was the police chief. Can you believe it? Karen Bass fired that woman that's the police chief. You know, and she probably fired her because she called out Karen Bass and said Karen Bass failed and she fired her. And there's a bunch of facts here that I think are instrumental to talk about before we get too deep into this. He's asking for $40 billion in federal funding aid from Congress to support recovery efforts following the catastrophic wildfire in Los Angeles. Here's some aspects of it. Disaster overview. And the January wildfire resulted in destruction of 16,000 structures, claiming at least 29 people's lives, and the economic loss exceeds $250 billion. $16 billion sought from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, for the fire response costs, debris removal, all of the above. $9.9 billion requested for the Department of Housing and Urban Development for grants to assist homeowners, businesses, and renters in rebuilding. $5 billion proposed to Small Business Administration, the SBA, for loans to support efforts for the homeowners and businesses. So you go down the list, that's what he's requesting. The burden of taxpayers, estimated cost on illegal aliens in California. I want to throw that out there. Put him on the screen real quick, but let me keep talking. It says in 2023, analysts by the Federation of American Immigration Reform estimated that California spends approximately $31 billion annually on services for illegal aliens. Y'all spend $31 billion a year for non-citizens. In 10 years, that's $300 billion in 10 years for people that shouldn't even be in this country. The largest proportion of expenditures is allocated to K-12 education for children and undocumented immigrants, covering expenses such as instruction, transportation, and additional support services. Funds are directed towards emergency medical services and certain public health programs assisting to all residents, regardless of immigration status, is where a lot of the other money costs. Costs include policing, legal proceedings, and related to undocumented individuals. What does it say? Incarceration. That's a weird looking word. Incarceration related to undocumented immigrants. So this is the burden that they putting on the taxpayer in California. You paying 40, 50, 60% of your tax money messing around in California, and they giving out to illegal aliens. Let's roll this clip real quick.
Now to our California wildfire coverage. Tonight, Governor Gavin Newsom asked the federal government for billions of dollars to help Los Angeles fire victims.
In a letter to the White House, the governor asking for $39.6 billion in disaster aid. 2/3 of that money would be used for community and private property recovery. The governor is also asking for billions in business assistance, tax relief, and wildfire prevention. And in the letter, the governor says, in part from day one of being sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, President Trump and his administration have demonstrated a strong commitment to supporting Los Angeles recovery by fast-tracking debris clearance and helping to pilot this all-hands recovery. Adding, the same holds true for many members of Congress. We are eternally grateful.
Now, obviously, the president of the United States is not able to prevent this from happening. I don't believe so. This has actually got to be an act from Congress. Now, Congress is weak, in my opinion, as a whole, so they're going to give him the aid that he's requesting. I don't think he should have any government aid if he's defying government law. If you're saying that your state is a sanctuary state, you have knowingly and intentionally harbored illegal aliens spending $31 billion a year. So when you blow all of your taxpayer dollars for illegal aliens, don't ask the federal government for sugar honey iced tea.
Meanwhile,
Riverfront property may be hard to come by in Los Angeles, but for some people living on the margins, this is where they call home. There are many makeshift structures built with scrap material and trash along the Arroyo Seco next to the 110 freeway near Highland Park. They are among the more than 46,000 people experiencing homelessness in LA. Some of the structures, like this one, stand out. It has a stone wall, walkway, front door, powered lights, even a hammock for relaxing. It appears well kept.
Don't ask him for nothing. My federal tax dollars shouldn't go a single penny in the direction of California when y'all could have $30 billion a year in your budget if you weren't making yourself a sanctuary city, which is illegal, which is against federal law. Don't give them no money. I would plead with Congress, do not give them any money. If people don't have the help they need, then move out of California. Make California put them illegal aliens on a boat somewhere or a ship somewhere or get them up out of there so that your tax dollars can actually go to the people that live there, that are citizens, that are paying taxes. That's all. I don't think it's that hard. That's all I would say. Let's go to another clip of the $9 billion spending. Roll it.
We're spending $9.5 billion total funds.
So it's not the $6 billion that people continue to talk about in the media. It's $9.5 billion.
Was a Budget Act number. This is a revised number based on the governor's budget updated estimates.
Next clip about the $45 million.
Do you think it is appropriate to sign $50 million of spending to fight the Trump administration while also asking the federal government for $40 billion in fire relief aid?
Well, I wouldn't frame the question as you framed it. The state of California, as you know, prepared many, many months ago for a new administration to protect and preserve our policies, our progress, and programs that the Trump administration is directly looking to deviate from. This is well-treaded territory. We were involved. I wasn't as governor. I served 2 years under the Trump administration, or with President Trump. Governor Brown served 2 years with President Trump. Over that 4-year period, there were 122 lawsuits. So there was some expectation that many similar efforts from the original term would be replicated in his second term. And the whole point of putting $25 million up to the Department of Justice, our state Department of Justice, was to prepare for that. High-speed rail, perfect example. And in so many ways, we were prescient in that respect in terms of putting those funds up in anticipation of the efforts happening in the second Trump administration that happened in the first Trump administration. As it relates to the additional $25 million, that is not specific to Trump. It's about protecting people's rights. It's about getting people to get the kind of private support they need from nonprofits and other local organizations to address their anxieties and fears. And that was done in council and partnership with the legislature. Now, on the specific...
Shut the front door. So y'all know he's a fraud. That's all I got to say. I don't need to talk too much more about Gavin Newsom's tongue, but he's a fraud. I don't know how these people survive, man, to be honest. California, y'all should be ashamed of yourself if you vote for Gavin Newsom. This man takes your money, gives it to illegals, beg the government for money while suing the government. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up.